I am an author, photographer, entrepreneur, and lifeist. I coined that phrase from my brother, and I was like, what does that even mean? He said, you take everything that life gives you and you just go with it. And so, yes, I was like, that's what I am. I am a lifeist. And so that's kind of what led me to this journey of taking this trip around the world with my children. Prior to taking a trip around the world, I actually did this thing called 50 before 50. I was turning 50, and my therapist said, what do you do for yourself? And I was like,
nothing.
Right? Like most moms, we're like, huh?
Raise your hand if you're a working mom.
Absolutely, right. And I was just like, I couldn't, everything that I named, she said I was doing it for somebody else. And so I had to kind of be introspective and say, what are you really doing for yourself, and what do you really like? And so finally the answer came to me, and it was like travel. I love to travel. So prior to taking this trip around the world with my kids, I actually did a 50 before 50, where I had 50 new adventures before I turned 50. So for 2 years, I traveled.
Wow. And then you decided to travel around the world. Walk us through how you came to that decision, and not just the decision, but also the implementation.
Okay.
You did it.
I did it. I did it with a lot of help. So what I ended up doing was, when I was traveling around the world, mostly with my girlfriend, sometimes with my family, sometimes by myself, I would always say, meet another friend who would always travel with me. We would say, would we bring our kids here? And every time we would say, yeah, we would bring our kids here. And so one day when I was in Egypt, I was standing in front of the pyramids, and I was like, oh my God, I would bring my kids here. And I think Holy Spirit just got sick of me saying it. He said, so bring your kids here. And I was like, you only have to tell me one time. And so from there, that was April 2023, I believe. Yes, because that was heading into my 50th birthday. So it was April 2023 when I went to Dubai and Egypt. And that's when I decided I was going to take my kids on a trip around the world. I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to take my kids on a trip around the world, but it was, when I was there, I just had to make the decision. Like, so what are you going to do? And I did. And so from April 2023 to August 2024 was the preparation for the trip around the world.
So where did you start? How did you travel? And where did you end?
Okay, so I started with trying to figure out how I was going to pay for the trip around the world. And so as you can see, I travel a lot. So when I was in Hawaii for my solo trip, I think this was like the first solo trip I had taken in a while, because usually somebody's going with me. And I had gone to Hawaii, and because it started off, okay, should I take, I know, okay, but I always find these travel deals. So it was like, it always starts with a question. Should I take a flight to Hawaii for $286? And the answer is, of course, yes. And then so I try to find the cheapest deal with the hotels and everything like that. But we still a little bougie, so it has to be right. And so when I was in Hawaii, I was like, how am I going to pay for this trip around the world? You have time to think, because you don't have people saying, mommy, 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 babe, babe, babe. And so talking to God, praying, and he said, well, what's your biggest expense? And it was like my house. My house is my biggest expense. So I started there. I had to convince my husband to rent our house, and then to buy a place for us to live, which we are in now.